My name's Ott Blair. Everybody calls me Ott, short. I was born in Wallows County in 1894. I'm 76 years old. And I've made, I'd say, 2,000 sleds. I go to the woods, hunt my timber, pick out some timber about, and cooks on what I can use. After getting the timber, the first thing to do, I have to use the cook. They can't finish it at the sawmill. I finish it on the yard with my axe. I use the cook, and then I bore for the 4-piece. Bore the holes, put the 4-piece in, mortise it out with a chisel, put my 4-piece in, then the next thing I do, put my benches on. Nail them on. You know, the next thing I do, put my blocks on. And then the benches. And then the fender. And then I do all that boring for the studding and for the standard hole. And then I bore, take a auger and bore a hole down through the fender, bench, block, and all. Square down through it, way down in deep into the runner. And then drive a locust peg in there about as tight as it'll drive without busting. That makes a stud, makes it stout. I use ash and locust mostly. If I've got locust, I use locust. And for the runners, I use locust, and sourwood, black cherry, and some cucumber. Well, how come to start making sleds? I was making one up there beside the road for my own use. And I got it nearly done, and there's a man from Roan Mountain, Tennessee, come by and stopped and talked to me a little, and he said, "Would you sell that sled?" And I said, "No, I need it." And he said, "Sell me that and make you another." Well, I was crippled on crutches, and cast on my leg, and couldn't get out and make no money. It was a week before Christmas. And I studied a little, and I believe I will sell it to him, get me a little Christmas money, and make me another. So I sold it to him. I split me out another set of runners, and made another. And there's a woman and a little boy come by, and I said to the little boy, I was just teasing him. They had an old mule at home, and I said, "Son, how you swap me a mule for this sled?" And he twisted and grinned. And his mammy said, "What'd you do with that sled you made the other day?" And I said, "I sold it." And she says, "My goodness, I wish we'd have known this, I'd have bought it." I said, "I'll sell you this one." And she said, "I'll send the man down, he comes from work. He's working at the plant a little bit." So he come in and bought that one. I told my wife, I said, "I might sell a few sleds here on the side. I can't get off nowhere on the job." I went to the woods and got a set of 2 more runners, made me one and an extra sled or 2, and before I could get a sled made, somebody stopped. "What are you going to do with that? You wouldn't sell it, would you?" And from that, I started making sleds, and I've never had one that didn't sell. I mean, about 28 years ago. And I've made sleds every year since, and every year, the last 2 or 3 years, has been better than it's ever been. It seems like the trade gets better than it was some years ago. And they got to coming from far off now, out of Kentucky, Virginia, way down this state. And so I've made and sold sleds ever since. And I first got crippled, got my leg broke, double compound fracture. Stayed in the hospital one whole winter and got out. Plaster cast on my leg. Took the young'uns and got up in there and cleaned off ground and planted and made a pretty good crop. In the fall of the year, after we gathered in the crop, the welfare man come here. He said, "I'll have to cut you off of the welfare." He said, "You made too much stuff." He said, "If you'll quit work and sit down, you can draw a good check." And I said, to hell with the welfare. I ain't quit. Well, I didn't get another check, and I made a living anyhow.